The baby shower for my sister Rachel was supposed to be a celebration, but at 26, I was apparently the family member who created drama wherever she went. The pastel decorations and cheerful atmosphere couldn't mask the tension that followed me to every family gathering since my epilepsy diagnosis 6 months ago. Seriously, Maya, you need to stop making everything about your medical issues, Rachel said loudly as I carefully positioned myself near the exit of the country club banquet room. This is my day and I don't want any of your theatrical episodes ruining it. I was taking my anti-seizure medication with a glass of water when Aunt Patricia noticed. More pills? Honey, don't you think you're being a bit dramatic about this whole seizure thing? Mom nodded in agreement from across the gift table. Maya's always been prone to exaggeration. Remember when she was little and claimed she was too dizzy to go to school? That's different, Mom. I was actually having absence seizures that went undiagnosed for years. See what I mean? Rachel gestured to the assembled relatives. Everything has to be a medical emergency with Maya. She can't just have normal stress responses like everyone else. What my family didn't know was that while they'd been dismissing my attention-seeking medical drama, I'd been quietly working as senior research coordinator for the National Epilepsy Foundation. My background in neuroscience research had led to my appointment overseeing clinical trials and treatment protocols for major medical centers across the region. I just don't understand why you can't take something milder, Aunt Linda chimed in. Those epilepsy medications seem so intense for someone your age. Because seizures can be life-threatening, I explained patiently. Life-threatening? Rachel scoffed. You shake for a few minutes and then you're fine. It's not like you're dying. Actually, epilepsy can cause sudden unexpected death. There you go again, Mom interrupted, making everything sound worse than it is. If it was really that serious, wouldn't you be in the hospital instead of working at some research job? The irony was overwhelming. While they minimized my condition, I spent my days developing the very protocols that could save lives like mine. Maya, I need you to promise me something, Rachel said, opening another baby gift. If you feel one of your episodes coming on, just leave quietly. Don't make a scene and ruin my shower. Seizures don't work that way, Rachel. I can't always predict. Whatever. Just try to control yourself for once. My phone buzzed with a text from Dr. Elena Martinez, Chief of Neurology at Metropolitan Medical Center. Maya, I'm running late for the baby shower. Traffic is terrible. Save me some cake. I'd forgotten that Dr. Martinez was Rachel's college roommate and had been invited to the shower. The gift opening continued with relatives making increasingly confident statements about my epilepsy management. Every comment revealed how little they understood about my condition or my professional expertise. I read an article about people who cure epilepsy with dietary changes, Cousin Jennifer announced. Maybe Maya should try eliminating gluten before relying on all those heavy medications. That's interesting, Aunt Patricia agreed. I've heard about people who stopped having seizures just by reducing stress and getting more sleep. Mom nodded enthusiastically. Maya's always been high-strung. Maybe if she learned to relax instead of obsessing over medical research, she wouldn't need all this medication. Medical research? Rachel looked surprised. Maya works at some clinic doing filing or something, right? I work at the National Epilepsy Foundation, I corrected quietly. Right, like a secretary position, Rachel continued, dismissing my clarification. The point is, you're surrounded by medical negativity all day. No wonder you think your condition is worse than it actually is. Aunt Linda leaned forward conspiratorially. I've noticed that Maya's seizures always seem to happen at family events. It's almost like she subconsciously triggers them for attention. That's not how seizures work, I said, feeling my frustration growing. How would you know? Rachel challenged. You're not a doctor. You just file papers at a medical office. Actually, I coordinate clinical research trials. Whatever your job title is, Mom interrupted, the point is that you're too focused on the negative aspects of epilepsy. Maybe if you adopted a more positive attitude, you'd have fewer episodes. The conversation was interrupted by the arrival of more guests, including several of Rachel's college friends who worked in various medical fields. Maya's having one of her dramatic moments, Rachel announced to the newcomers. She's trying to convince everyone that her seizures are some kind of life-threatening emergency. Dr. Sarah Kim, a pediatric nurse, looked concerned. Rachel, epilepsy is actually a serious neurological condition. Seizures can be very dangerous. See? That's exactly the kind of medical fear-mongering Maya gets exposed to at her job, Aunt Patricia declared. Everyone in healthcare wants to make conditions sound scarier than they really are. But epilepsy really can be. Dr. Kim, you work with children, Mom said dismissively. Adult seizures are completely different. Maya's episodes are very mild. I felt the familiar aura that sometimes preceded my seizures, the strange metallic taste and visual disturbances that signaled an oncoming episode. The stress of defending my condition to my own family was triggering exactly what they claimed was attention-seeking behavior. I need to step outside for a moment, I said, recognizing the warning signs. Here we go, Rachel sighed dramatically. Maya's about to have one of her episodes because she's not getting enough attention. Rachel, that's not, Dr. Kim started to object. Trust me, I know my sister. She's been pulling this act since we were kids. As I headed toward the exit, I noticed Dr. Martinez's car pulling into the parking lot. My seizure was beginning just as the region's leading neurologist was arriving at my sister's baby shower. The partial complex seizure hit me just outside the banquet room entrance. I remained conscious but disoriented, exhibiting the repetitive hand movements and vacant stare that characterized my episodes. Through the glass doors, I could see my family continuing their celebration, completely unaware of what was happening. Dr. Elena Martinez found me in the hallway, immediately recognizing my condition and staying with me until the seizure ended. As my awareness returned, she helped me to a nearby chair. Maya, are you okay? That looked like a complex partial seizure. Dr. Martinez, I'm sorry you had to see this. My family's inside. Let me help you back to the party when you're ready. As we entered the banquet room, Rachel noticed us immediately. Maya, there you are. I was just telling everyone about your tendency to disappear when you want attention. Dr. Martinez looked confused. Actually, Maya just had a seizure in the hallway. A seizure. Mom's voice carried skeptical concern. Maya, you didn't mention feeling any symptoms. I tried to tell you I needed to step out. Elena. Rachel suddenly noticed her college friend. You made it. Maya, this is Dr. Elena Martinez. She's a neurologist at Metropolitan Medical. Actually, Dr. Martinez said slowly, Maya and I know each other quite well. She's my senior research coordinator at the National Epilepsy Foundation. The room went completely silent. Research coordinator? Rachel's voice was barely a whisper. Maya oversees our clinical trials program and develops treatment protocols for epilepsy patients across the region. Dr. Martinez continued, clearly puzzled by the family dynamic she'd walked into. Aunt Patricia looked stunned. Maya works with you? As a medical professional. She's one of the leading epilepsy researchers in the country, Dr. Martinez confirmed. Maya's protocols have improved treatment outcomes for thousands of patients. Mom's face had gone pale. But Maya just works at some medical office. Maya directs our research division, Dr. Martinez corrected. She holds a doctorate in neuroscience and has published extensively on seizure management. Rachel stared at me in shock. You never said you were a doctor. I tried to explain my work, but you kept interrupting to tell everyone I was being dramatic. Dr. Martinez looked around the room with growing understanding. Wait, have you all been dismissing Maya's epilepsy as attention-seeking behavior? The guilty silence was deafening. Maya has a serious neurological condition that requires careful management, Dr. Martinez continued, her voice carrying unmistakable authority. The seizure I just witnessed could have been life-threatening without proper monitoring. Dr. Martinez spent the next 20 minutes educating my family about epilepsy while I recovered from my seizure. The cheerful baby shower atmosphere had completely evaporated, replaced by uncomfortable silence and guilty expressions. Maya, I had no idea you were so accomplished, Rachel said quietly after Dr. Martinez finished explaining seizure risks. Why didn't you ever tell us about your research work? I tried to. Every time I mentioned my job, you dismissed it as filing papers or secretarial work. Mom looked ashamed. Honey, when you said you worked at the Epilepsy Foundation, I just assumed. You assumed I was too sick to have a real career, I finished. Meanwhile, I've been developing the treatment protocols that manage my own condition. Dr. Martinez gathered her purse to leave. Rachel, congratulations on the baby. Maya, I'll see you Monday for the clinical review meeting. After she left, Aunt Patricia spoke first. Maya, I owe you an apology. I had no idea epilepsy was so serious. Or that you were such a respected medical professional, Aunt Linda added. Rachel sat down beside me, tears in her eyes. Maya, I've been awful. I accused you of ruining my shower when you were actually having a medical emergency. The worst part, I said gently, is that I spend my days advocating for epilepsy patients whose families don't understand their condition. I never expected to become one of those patients myself. Mom hugged me carefully. Can you forgive us? We clearly don't understand your condition at all. Education is the first step, I replied. Dr. Martinez left some literature about epilepsy awareness. Rachel wiped her eyes. Will you teach us? Help us understand what you're going through. 6 weeks later, my family participated in the National Epilepsy Foundation's Awareness Walk, wearing team t-shirts that read Maya's Medical Heroes. Some baby showers end with gifts. This one ended with my family finally understanding that seizures aren't performances. They're neurological events that require respect, support, and medical expertise.